Welcome back to the Thoughtful Advocate podcast. This episode is for you people out there building something, whether it's a business, a creative project, a new version of yourself, or a better life. If you're in the messy middle of creating something that matters to you, this one's for you. Being present has been a big theme in my life recently, and it's always been something that I've struggled with constantly. When I think about where it comes from, I can see how much I learned from my dad. My dad was always stuck in the past. He would always talk about how smart his father was, how great his grandmother was to him, and I think those memories gave him comfort. But they also kept him from really being here in the now. Here's what science tells us. Our brains are actually wired to time travel. This is my husband's favorite topic. Studies show that we spend 47% of our time thinking about something other than the now. It's called mind wandering. It can help us plan and learn. Too much of it makes us stressed, anxious. And I realized I did the same thing in my own way. For years, I felt stuck on my past mistakes. Not so much on what I said, but especially what I didn't say. There'd be times where I'd replay in my head in the middle of the night, why didn't I stand up for myself? And it made me resent myself. Where I let others put me down, where I played small. And when we keep replaying those negative, when we keep replaying those negative memories, our brains actually strengthen those memory pathways. It's like walking through a path over and over again until you create a deep groove that's hard to get out of. Researchers call this rumination, and that can actually change the structure of your brain. Lately, I've swung the other way. I've been so focused on my future, where I'm going, what I'm building, when will my son feel better? And in the winter, when will it get warmer? When will the sun come out? When can we actually do things? And while dreaming big is beautiful and necessary when you're building something so meaningful, I noticed that I was racing ahead and missing what's right in front of me. For builders and creators, the future focus is so common. Your vision is so clear, so exciting, that you want to fast forward through the slow, mundane, everyday life and the uncertainty of it all. But here's what I learned. The building happens in the present moment, even when it doesn't feel like it. This week really taught me that. I had all these plans to film a bunch of podcast episodes, which I'm doing right now, but it's the weekend. I was really excited because John has this 2 to 10 shift, so I could film in the mornings. And it's very rare. He usually has these kind of shifts only once a month. So I wanted to take that opportunity to film as much as possible because I knew the weekends coming up were packed and busy. But then my period came and I felt like my dreams came crashing down. My whole entire body hurt. My energy was completely gone. I felt disappointed. Like I finally had a window to be productive, and now I just couldn't. And here's the science. This isn't just in my head. During the first few days of your period, your body goes through major hormonal changes. Your estrogen and progesterone levels drop dramatically. Think of it as your body's energy suddenly losing power. Studies show that women experience up to 25% drop in energy during this time. Your body's working way harder. The lining of your uterus is shedding, which is real physical work that your body is doing. Plus, your iron levels are dropping because of the blood loss, which makes you feel even more tired. And something interesting, research shows that women's brains actually change during their menstrual cycle. During your period, the parts of your brains that handles focus and energy are less active. It's like your brain and body telling you to slow down and rest. And there's good biological reason for that. So instead of forcing myself, I let myself rest. I remind myself I need the energy for those nights where my son's colic is often worse. And honestly, I'm so grateful that I listened to my body. I took days to just be. I was watching YouTube where I was watching eating and travel YouTube videos for a doobie. And yeah, she was like traveling around Asia and eating all sorts of delicious food. And I just love food and learning about the culture. So it was really fun seeing that. And of course, I played with my son. Whenever I play with my son, I'm always present, so I'm really glad that he's here because he reminds me to be present and not wandering off to the future or the past. And I let go of the pressure to be productive. This is the power of rest. Scientists have discovered that rest isn't just about feeling better. It's when your brain does its most important work. During rest, your brain clears out toxins, forms new memories, and makes creative connections. It's like your brain's cleaning crew coming in to organize everything. And that's what I'm learning right now, to listen to my body, to slow down, to find balance. Because our bodies speak to us. They tell us when it's time to rest, and honoring that is part of being present. For those of you who are building something, your body is actually your greatest business partner. It tells you when you need to pivot, when you need to push, and when you need to take a pause. Listening to these signals isn't just about health, it's about sustainable success, the body and brain connection. Your body and brain are constantly talking to one another through something called the vagus nerve. It's like a super highway of information. When your body is tired or stressed, it sends signals to your brain. And you ignore these signals, like most of us do. Stress hormones like cortisol build up, which can cause you to feel even more tired and unfocused. That feeling like nothing is happening can be one of the hardest places to sit in, especially when you're building something. It's the space in between, the quiet middle between planting the seeds and the first signs of growth. It can feel like you're stuck, like the universe forgot you, like your project's just going nowhere. But it hasn't, and you're not stuck. You're gestating. For builders, this is the point where most people quit. The initial excitement has just worn off. The quick wins have stopped coming, and you're in what the entrepreneurs call the valley of despair. But here's what successful builders know. This valley is where the real magic begins. The psychology of waiting. Psychologists have studied what they call the waiting experience, and they found that uncertainty actually activates the same part of the brain as physical pain. That's why waiting can be so uncomfortable. But here's the cool part. People who learn to tolerate that uncertainty actually become more creative and resilient. Here's what to do when you feel like nothing's happened. The underground work is still work. Seeds don't sprout the moment they're planted. They root first underground, unseen. That doesn't mean nothing's happening. It means everything is. In nature, seeds spend the most energy growing its roots, even before they show green above the ground. Sometimes roots can grow for months, even before you see any visible growth. Scientists call this the establishment phase, and it's the most important part of a plant's life. For builders, every day you show up, every small action you take, every connection you make, it's all root work. Your audience is growing, your skills are developing, your networking is expanding. Just because you can't see the results doesn't mean nothing's happening. Your consistency, you showing up, your energy shift, it's all doing its job, even if the evidence isn't here yet. Don't dig up and doubt what you planted in faith. The universe moves in silence. Some of the biggest shifts happen quietly. When you're learning something new or changing a habit, your brain is actually rewiring itself. This process is called neuroplasticity. It happens most when you're sleeping or resting. You might not feel any changes during the day, but when you're sleeping, everything's happening. Your brain is working on building new pathways. When you feel like nothing is moving, you're often realigning, clearing old energies, beliefs, and past to make room for the new. Can you trust the silence as sacred? Not as punishment, but preparation. Shift focus from the outcome. Instead of asking why isn't it happening yet, or why isn't my business growing faster, try who am I becoming when I build this? How can I make this moment more meaningful? What fun and joy could I bring into my work day? What did I learn from today's efforts? Research shows that when we focus on the process instead of the outcome, we're more likely to succeed and feel happier along the way. Your energy and mindset are the most valuable things you have. When you're stressed and anxious about the results, you actually make worse decisions, and you burn out way faster. When you're in a good headspace, you're more creative, more magnetic to opportunities, and more resilient when things don't go as planned. Your energy is your magnet. Keep your frequency aligned with joy, not anxiety. Rest equals progress. Sometimes rest is the thing you're being asked to do. Recovery science. Athletes actually build more muscle during rest versus during the workouts, which seems not logical. You get stronger during rest because your body repairs and rebuilds the muscles and the fibers. The same is true for your brain. Growth happens during recovery periods. Some of your best ideas will come when you step away from work. My ideas come when I'm about to sleep or I'm in the shower. Rest isn't the opposite of productivity. It's where productivity gets recharged. You don't have to earn your dreams by burning out. You've earned rest. You're receiving. Let receiving be your next act. Studies show that most breakthroughs happen right after the lull phase or plateau phase, a period where it feels like nothing's working. But during this plateau, skills and connections are actually being built, preparing you for the next leap. These are real examples of builders and people who trusted the process, even when they couldn't see it come together. These are people who stayed in the dark long enough for their dreams to bloom. So you all know Oprah Winfrey. The reality before it all happened for her was she was told she was unfit for TV. Wild. She was fired from her first job and grew up in poverty and deep trauma. But what she did was she kept showing up authentically. She trusted her voice and even created her own platform, The Oprah Winfrey Show, which has changed lives across the globe. And she said this herself, "I had no idea that I would become so rich just being myself. If I had, I would have done this a lot sooner." Elizabeth Gilbert, a worldwide known author, before she hit her big success, Eat, Pray, Love, she got rejected by a bunch of publishers. And she worked for years waitressing just to pay bills. And now her books have touched millions. And yes, you belong on this list because you're walking your dream right now. Even in the invisible season, you're creating, showing up, and trusting in the process. And you're choosing to believe even when it would just be easier to quit. You're already the kind of person who finishes what they start. And for the builders out there, the project you've been working on, the audience that you've been building, the skills that you've been developing, you're closer to a breakthrough. You're closer to a breakthrough than you think. The key is not to quit during the plateau. You're learning to wait with wisdom and not worry. Let's do a quick mantra for this feeling. Even when I see nothing, I trust everything is unfolding. I don't chase, I align. I don't rush, I receive. Research shows that people who practice acceptance and trust have lower stress hormones and better immune function. When you stop fighting the process and start trusting what's happening, your body literally relaxes and it can focus its energy on healing and growth. So if you can relate to this as a builder and creator who's going after their dreams, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. When you subscribe, you're not only getting notified for new episodes, you're joining a community of people who understand that building something meaningful takes time and takes rest. So share this with someone who needs to hear this. You're extending the same grace and permission to rest and to trust their journey. You can find me at The Thoughtful Advocate on Instagram, TikTok, and other social media platforms. I also love connecting with listeners, so don't be shy and leave me a comment or DM me. You could be featured in the next episode of this podcast. And remember, you're not behind, you're not stuck. Remember, you're not behind, you're not stuck. You're exactly where you need to be, growing the roots that will support your beautiful and big dreams. So keep showing up, keep trusting the process, and keep listening to your body. Thank you for being part of this community. And thank you to my Patreon listeners. You've been a big support to me, so I really appreciate you. And if you want to join my Patreon community, you can find the link in my bio. Okay, so today's sponsor is Kind Laundry. Just kidding, they're not really a sponsor, but I do have an affiliate code. Kind Laundry use natural ingredients, and it actually comes in these sheets. So much more useful than liquid laundry detergent because that stuff gets messy. With Kind Laundry, you can bring this anywhere. It's literally in a box, pack in your suitcase, and it's that easy. You can get 10% off by using code ZeroWasteCute.